Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, with the Dragon Ball Super Hero, I thought it was only right to get this in here, and that we're gonna have Gogeta coming soon, so you know your boy invested into that Dragon Ball Fighters to get the Gogeta, so we'll get to see that. But overall, this episode was relatively, like, it was alright. Um, I love me some Goku Black. So if the closest thing I can get to Goku Black is some Merz Zamasu, I'll take it. And that is exactly what we got, and he went off, absolutely destroying the weakened Z fighters, proving that regardless of, like him losing the first time, it don't matter if he can actually get if he gets this much of an advantage on you, he will destroy you. So I thought that was a pretty interesting way of showing that. Other than that, though, we're looking relatively good for the future of this show. In the case of like, either if you like it, there's probably gonna be more, and if you don't like it, it seems like they're getting to the end of this Super's hearts, whoever the hearts guy is, and like he seems relatively big in this grand scheme of this show. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. But in this case, I feel like we're probably going to learn a lot more of like what they have in the background noise. Like we still have a lot of characters like the um, different universes and stuff like that that Heroes hasn't really touched on. Golden Cooler, after seeing him, hasn't showed up. Vegeta just got blasted. Thanks, Vegeta. Stuff like that. There's a couple things that I can think of that still needs to be kind of introduced in Heroes in the grand scheme of the anime style. They can continue to go with it, but to be fair, I am one of those people on the fence and want just Super back in general. Now there's been leaked pictures of people, trying to supposedly pass off pictures as canon, and people who, are really dedicated to this Dragon Ball Z channel stuff on YouTube are putting in everybody's mind that these things are 100% fake. So I don't really, care regardless, as long as I get my show. As long as the show comes back, what am I? I'm not going to be the ones reporting on that type of stuff, right? So, as long as we get to that point where we're getting the show back, I don't care what is leaked. I just want it to be back. But the best character has came back, and he's about to help us out, and that would be Hito. Hit being the best character that I think has been introduced into Super. Um, Yeah, I mean, everybody picks like Khalifa and Kale and stuff like that, which, I mean, meeting some female Saiyans is pretty cool, but to have someone who, the only person who could kind of relate to his power was Whis, like, oh, that's kind of what I do with my ability with time, like, but he's using it in a different sense, so that's a huge compliment in itself of that his race, or like his type of ability is that highly revered, probably that even someone of a angel would be very, very smart to put that person on their side in the case of they want to see how far maybe even their own abilities can go. They could test it out and see what he's learned and see if they can do some of what he's doing, or even better, do it better than how he's doing it. So I don't know. That was always interesting with me with Hit and how he was introduced and slapped Vegeta, of course, but he pretty much forced Goku to use something so unknown that it destroyed his body, and it was the only true way for him to win, which is this right here, this Kaioken. Oh my god, I didn't land it. I did not land it. But Goku was Super Saiyan Blue, and then adding Kaioken to it was pretty ridiculous. Which I was thinking about he's never actually done Kaioken in just normal Super Saiyan, red hair or yellow hair Super Saiyan. He's never done the Kaioken with that, and I was thinking about why, and it kind of makes sense now that King Kai is a god. Like, he is literal a god. So if he makes a technique that kind of is from him and only because of him, it would make sense that that technique has some amount of god essence surrounding it, or some type of um, pull, just like the spirit bomb, to be able to pull from spirits and stuff like that and living creatures. That's nothing of what Master Roshi was teaching. The hermits, like any martial artists and stuff, were not pulling spirits power from other places. They weren't teaching stuff like that. Sure, Master Roshi did the Mafumba, which was ridiculously weird and broken, but it still was like a sealing technique. So it also seems to have a lot of history with it, with Zamasu getting hit by it and seemingly, knowing that those types of techniques exist out there, but being completely shocked that the humans would know about it, kind of gave it some validity that it's a much higher and like crazier ability than we gave it credit to be. But I truly just want to see what Hit and Jiren are going to bring, or if they're just there to give Super Hearts even more power scaling than he already has after absolutely manhandling Zumasu, who just manhandled everybody in the Z Fighters, even though they were tired. I know I have said that. But Super Hearts is going to catch them Gogeta hands, and this is my overall nagging, like, weird point with how they're going about this is, you're telling me that Ultra Instinct's Omen gets slapped, maybe, but Gogeta is gonna come out and clap. Like, but Gogeta has a perfect ratio of wins. Like, he's never not lost, or he's never left something neutral, right? Like, Broly, sure, people can call that neutral because he didn't die, he didn't kill him. But he also, he kills Frieza, sure, but there's times when Frieza, are we gonna say that Goku didn't beat Frieza on Namek because he didn't die, right? Like, oh, he didn't win that fight, he just put Frieza in an unconscious state, and that didn't count as him winning. So that would mean Gogeta didn't win against Janemba because he didn't actually kill Janemba. He just got rid of all the evil within that kid, and that kid's still alive. So if he ever runs into all that stuff again, he could still become Janemba. So that's neutral. And with Broly, he shot a final Kamehameha, but he gets teleported out of there to a different planet. So he didn't win that fight either. So I guess Gogeta's also got a garbage ratio, depending on how you want to place it. Like, people are so weird with their ways of seeing things, and it's cool to have different perspectives, but depending on how much of a different perspective you're trying to give, it's kind of just annoying at times. But I think Gogeta has a perfect ratio. Every time he's gotten to a fight, he's put an end to the fight, as in the fighter who he's going against cannot fight anymore, and they needed to like leave or be, they already got handled so far that they can't do anything anymore. Broly completely bodied, even in the case where Whis is like, oh, this fight's over, but then Gogeta was going to go in with another attack, so meaning he already had one, but he was going to literally kill him. He already beaten him when he had crossed his arms and did that energy that came from the sky. That was like the final touch. And that's why I think even Whis might have almost saved Broly if the Dragon Balls didn't, which is interesting thought process. But with Gogeta coming in and about to get another dub maybe under his hands, I think this is actually the time where Gogeta is going to lose. I think that would be like a good time to balance that. Be like, oh yeah, well, it is a great fusion and it's won every single fight as it's showed up. But now it loses its first fight, because we already seen Vegito. Vegito has already fought in Super and didn't do anything. And when against a weaker opponent, encumber the person who's being he's being controlled by Hearts when it comes down to making these plans and making these steps towards the gods. So he's not even the main ringleader when Hearts is, and they Super Saiyan Blue Vegito Kaioken didn't beat Cumber, okay? Okay? Now Gogeta is supposed to show up. A weakened Goku, a weakened Vegeta are supposed to beat a Hearts with Gogeta that just like ascended to a new level with using like this really weird way of getting to it. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it is Dragon Ball, so some people be like, you should feel the same way you always felt. It's the same thing as it always is. Like I get it, but this show is way more wonky, and it feels like they could have pulled a lot more craziness out than just being like, oh my god, and then Vegeta and Goku do a dance, and a dance that Gotenks could do and couldn't really save the whole entire planet, but these guys are gonna do the dance and save even the gods. I don't know. I just can't wait to see how the Gogeta shows up, how they're going to handle him, because he's gotten such a good representation of his appearances. You would imagine that he's just gonna body everybody. But with all that being said, have an amazing day, night, evening. I am the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you in the next one. Peace.